Go. So the first step in the whole process of moving kind of towards the final result of what we're working with is the iMovie app. So if you've never opened it before, you can just click on it. You don't need to follow along with what I'm saying, but you might want to take some notes as far as what you're kind of working on. So anytime you open it up, generally it probably has never been opened up before, so you might not get something like this. I'll just kind of show you the quick movie I did. I'm just going to click on it. Once you've been working on it for a little while, you can click on it. It's going to show you. So far, I only have a minute and 43 seconds done. I have the title, and then I can play it, I can send it, or I can delete it, or this is kind of an edit button. So I'm going to go in and edit it. But first, what I want to do is kind of just play what I have to show you what I've done so far. Again, I drew these and they're pretty brutal. Just because it's streaming and actually you can't hear my music because it's off my computer, but you kind of know the song already. It's The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So what I did is I also incorporated the Hanks writer because I wanted to have some text in there about the song. And so I copied and pasted some of the lyrics. I put it in Hanks writer just because I think the Hanks writer has a really unique look and it looked cool. You can maybe almost hear it off my computer. So again, it doesn't really matter necessarily the process, but you can kind of see how I started working on the assignment. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through what I've actually done and show you how it looks. So that's just showing you some of the ideas I had for my actual sketch notes. You can kind of see that they line up with parts of the song. Some I choose to add some quotes, some I chose to add some lyrics, some I just kind of drew what popped into my head when I listened to the song. And again, the song is to music. Unfortunately, I don't have it plugged in because my input jack isn't really working. But you can kind of get the sense because you know the song already. So again, it doesn't all have to be pictures, right? Okay, I'm just gonna go back. Okay, and now if I click on my edit button, which is the little pencil, I can go through and I can see some of my pictures, some of my music, some of my text. But first, before we even get there, I said the biggest challenge for you guys is going to be getting your text physically into the program, right? So I'll kind of show you exactly how I did that. I've done it a couple different ways. I think the easiest is to be able to, if you can find the song itself. I was lucky enough to actually own a copy of the song, so I went to my iTunes and then found the song, right-click on it, show in Finder, and then I was able to find it. But I'll show you how to record it as well. It's just so that everybody can kind of get over this hump of trying to get that information. So if you've never imported music, or if you're not sure where to start, like I said, the biggest hurdle you're going to jump through is finding the song. So what I did is on my home computer, I transferred the song file to Dropbox. And all these iPads have Dropbox. Or you can do the exact same with Google Drive as well. So you can see there that it comes up as a music file, and I can play it if I wanted to hear it. But what I'm going to do is I want to open it up in iMovie, right? So I'm going to go to that little box that has the arrow on it, and then there's a few different things there. I can send it to somebody, I can email it if I wanted, but what I want to do is open in. So that little app, open in right there. And then it's going to show me, oh, mine looks different. I have an option to open it in iMovie. There we go. So I'm going to open it up in iMovie, and it's going to say exporting file because it's actually compressing my file, making it usable, and putting it in the proper format so that it can open up in iMovie. And then you're going to see it's going to open up in iMovie. There we go. So what I can do is I can create a new movie. That's what I'll do. And you can see there it drops it right in my timeline. So that's the song. I can scrub through it. I can hit play. and I can listen to it if I want. Again, you can't hear the sound because it's coming out of my computer, but generally anytime you have audio, which is going to be the most important part of this starting, is getting the audio physically in iMovie. You can see it there. Awesome. So the next step would be what? Yeah. Yeah. No, you don't have to make a presentation, but essentially the final project is going to be a book, an iBook, that you're going to send to me. And later on in the process, I'm going to tell you all about the rest of the process. So now that I have my audio in here, yes?
Were we supposed to start a new book for our song exam?
No, not yet. We'll talk about that. So now that I have my audio in here, what I want to do is start getting my content in here. So I can go to Photos, because I've saved them in my camera roll. I'm going to just click on All. And unfortunately, I have to scroll to the bottom. There we go, you can see some of them. Awesome. So I can just click and drag, or sorry, I can just click on it, and it's automatically going to add that piece to my first timeline. So you can see there that it actually cut my audio off, which is fine. We don't need to worry about it till now. Let's say I wanted my title to be a little bit longer, to show up a little bit longer. I can just click on it, and you'll see it highlights yellow, and then I can drag it with my finger, and then that's how long it's going to show for. Okay, but what I would personally recommend is get all your images in there first. See, that's why I said you really have to know the song. You have to know the additional information you're adding into the song and what you want to do as far as how the look of it should be, right? So that's why I said I added some stuff from Hank's Writer. And if you click on it, I'm going to just drag it over a little bit. So the stuff I did in Hank's Writer, I wrote like a little synopsis about the song itself. The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald is a song written and composed, performed by the Canadian songwriter Gordon Lightfoot to commemorate the sinking of the bulk carrier SS Edmund Fitzgerald on Lake Superior on November 10th, 1975. So obviously that's something, if it has a lot of information, you're going to want it to play quite a bit, like long enough so that a normal person could read through it. But I don't want it to necessarily cut into my song, right? So if you have a song that has a lot of like a long intro, this is perfect. But if your music starts right away, maybe not the best idea, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it that length, but I want to shorten my cover because it's not a very amazing cover. And then I'm going to click on the end of the playhead right back there, and I want to put my picture of Gordon Lightfoot because it's super awesome, and I have a Canadian flag, and it looks so good. Oh, but it popped up in the wrong place. Let's say I want this moved over there. All I do is click on it, and oops, click and hold, and then you see it pops up. I'm going to just move it over to the right-hand side. So you can move clips around as you need them. Like I said, I'm not too worried about the duration of the clips, how long the clips are, until I have all of them in. Because if I change the length of this one, it's going to move where the other one is in relationship to the audio, right? So I'm just going to drop a few more of my pictures in here. Again, there's a button here. It looks kind of like a little arrow, like almost like a little whip, like a U-turn. That's if you made a mistake or if you want to undo something, right? I'm just going to click on all my images. Luckily, I took their picture in order, so I'm just going to click on each one, and it's going to drop them in my timeline here. So really, this process is actually super simple if you've put in the work beforehand. So that's why I had you guys working on just getting your sketch notes done for the entire week. So now that you have sketch notes, hopefully you can start dropping them in. Most of you probably aren't done all of the sketch notes you need to actually finish the project, but now is kind of a time that you should be able to like learn how it's all going to go together, right? So what I would do now that I have all of them in is I would hit play, and it'll start playing from the beginning. And then I'll start matching things up to the audio, right? So this is all during my intro. I was able to hear it. and then it goes into the legend of the Chippewa, but let's say I need it to play a little bit longer. Again, you can just stretch it. And let's say this one has to be moved over a bit. You can just stretch it to make it work. Another good idea, let's just say because the way iMovie works is it connects every image. So let's say you wanted to have just some text in between one of those, and to just kind of show the first verse or something like that, because it's a really long one, maybe it's a slow song. What I would suggest is something like Hank's Writer. Go into Hank's Writer, you can copy and paste the lyrics from the internet, and then you can save them as a picture. You can take a screen capture of it, and then you can drop it in. So all we're doing is essentially dropping pictures into audio. Okay, and also, let's say you didn't want anything there. Say you wanted to just go to black. All you would need to do is just take a picture of a black square and drop it in. And then you can make that black square longer or shorter depending on if you didn't want to have something there. Yeah?
Do you also have like actual pictures from the thing in your thing, or does it have to just be
Yes.
drawn?
Yeah, so, good question. Can we have like helpful pictures? Yes, but not at the expense of you drawing. Right? So I don't want somebody to say, you know what, I don't like drawing, I don't want to do this, so all I'm going to do is pull pictures from the internet. Because yeah, you could do that, but that isn't necessarily the whole point of the assignment. The point of the assignment has to do a lot with the sketchnoting, but I don't mind if you add additional pictures that help support what you've done and drawn. So yes, you can add additional pictures, but that doesn't mean you can get rid of your drawings. Yes?
What exactly would like getting graded on for this?
It's not. I'm not grading you on artistic ability. That's the big one. What I'm grading you on, I haven't actually made the full rubric, but I'll give that to you guys before the assignment is done. I'm going to grade you on the song, what it's about. Basically, the end result is going to be a movie. This section. So in the movie, I'm going to hopefully see. Clear sketch notes that go along with the story itself. So pictures like this that have some information and some words on it. I'm going to look for things like additional information that's not necessarily in the song. So if you have a section, for example, in this song we learned that lyrics were changed in 2010. So during that section of the song where the lyrics were changed, I might have an information either in a sketch note version, a drawing explaining it, or I might have a page pop up that's from Hank's Writer that might say the lyrics were changed in 2010 because of this. So that shows that I've done a little bit of research. Essentially, this is kind of a research project. Are you able to find a good song? Are you able to deconstruct the song to make pictures that relate to it? And C, are you able to find additional information that supports learning about the song? So this is essentially a research assignment, right? So if you have all those criteria met, that's the best you can possibly do. And again, things should line up. For example, if I were to play this, and then it's like all out of order, and all of a sudden they're talking about like this next one here, where it says, I have an iron boat, iron 26,000 tons more, and I actually have a quote here. Oops. I had a quote. So if that doesn't line up, like if it doesn't start when the music starts, I can tell that it wasn't, I just kind of threw the images in and I didn't really care how it lined up, right? So you have to spend some time lining things up and listening to it over and over to make sure it works. So let's say I'm absolutely done this is all finished, or just kind of one other thing. Let's say I didn't like, or I wasn't able to download my audio to my computer and open it up through Dropbox. What I can do is I can put my images first, and let's just say I'm going to just delete my audio track. What you can do is you can go to the very start of the song. At the bottom right hand side here, you can see there's a little microphone. If I click on that microphone, it gives me the option. You can see there it's hearing my voice because there's a microphone on the top of your iPad. What I can do is when I'm ready to record, I'll hit record. But obviously I go to something like YouTube, get the song ready, hit play, and then I would hit record. And then you can see it starts recording me, and red is bad, it means too loud, etc. Oh, sorry. Now is where you start recording. You'll see that it's going to go along with the audio clip. And obviously this should be the song and not my voice, but it's just an example. And then you hit stop and you're done.
So you recommend this, like putting music on like.
Totally up to you. Whatever's easiest for you. I would say this is a super easy way. The only thing that this does is it doesn't have the best audio quality because you're recording off this device from YouTube. I don't care about audio quality. All I care about is that I can make out the words or I can hear the song. So that's a very, very easy way to do it. The Dropbox way is another way to do it. Google Drive is another way to do it. So I just want to give you every possible way to do it. And it depends what is easiest for you. Like I said, I don't care about the audio quality. I just need to be able to kind of hear it so that I can tell it lines up with your images, things like that. So just because a person doesn't have a copy of the song or it's not perfectly crystal clear, that doesn't matter to me. I'm not taking off marks. That being said, it's not easy to record in the class, right? Because there's 30 of you working, and it's not going to sound great if we have 30 people and you're trying to record. So you might have to think about doing that at home. You can do that like on an iPhone has a voice recorder, an iPod Touch has one. Also, if you have headphones, they have that little microphone in it. You just need to know where a microphone is and where your audio source is. Or you can just stay in at lunch for literally like 5 minutes the duration of your song, record it. Whatever works for you. I'm just trying to give you all of the options. So you can see there my recording. Oh, I can hit finish. I can redo it if I want. I'll just hit accept. And that way my recording is in there, right? So that's another way to do it. So essentially, the first part of the assignment is absolutely complete, right? You have sketch notes. It's up to you whether you want to copy and paste some, like an intro as far as a little writing in there. If you want to do some writing of quotes, you can kind of do what I did, like I did here, that has a little bit of information. I also did that with some of my quotes that I found really interesting, just because I thought it broke it up really well. And the more and more I watched this last night as I was working on it, the more I found out or figured out that the more changes you have, the more visually appealing. So I could get away with just having like one picture for like every 15 seconds, but it just looked like you were missing something. You're like, oh, if I were to do this, I would put a picture of the boat right there or something like that. So the more pictures and the more information, the more changes you see on the screen, the better. Again, that doesn't need to be just pictures. You can have a combination of pictures. You can get some pictures off the internet to help. You can have text from Hank's Writer. You can do a lot of different things. And that's why I can't give you like a definite list because everybody's doing something different. Some of you might have 3-minute intros. I know there's some Iron Maiden songs with long intros. That's where you can put in a ton of information. But some of your songs start like within 3 seconds of the song starting. Yeah.
So it's like our ending like 3 minutes, we put like a ton of
Yeah, you can put a ton of information at the end as well. So let's just say this is absolutely totally finished. I'm happy with it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the back button, and then you're going to see this is my movie. What I might do is I might change the title, because if you send me that, it's going to just say my movie. So I'm going to type in rec of, and then obviously I'm going to finish it. Oh, what did I do? Now you know my code for this. So let's say it's absolutely completely finished. I'm happy with it. I'm ready to save it or do something with it. So I'm going to just go to that little square box with the arrow, which we know from every other assignment is meaning sending it somewhere.
Send it to me.
I'm just going to actually save the video. So saving the video puts it in our camera roll, and that's going to be important because of our next part of the assignment. So the first part of the assignment is sketch notes, getting it all together with the music into a video. Yes?
My iPad doesn't have iMovie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I will make that fix for you. We'll get that done right away. It also says choose an export size. They don't need to be great. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit medium. It doesn't really matter. If you look at it and you're like, oh man, that's a brutal quality, you can change it. You can do that as many times as you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so now it's exporting the video. I'm actually just going to put the X on it because I don't need to know it. It's not really important for me right now. I'm going to show you the next section, which is book creator. The book creator is the app. So we've gone through iMovie, now we're going through book creator. Remember, what I want from you guys by the end of the class is a sketch note showing me what you've learned in class today. We're going to airdrop that to my iPad. Two things. What are we learning?
iMovie a book creator.
iMovie book creator, right. So now I'm going to go through how this project looks in book creator. So now theoretically we have our iMovie done and we're ready for the next step. So like I said, last night what I did is I'm trying to show you my version of the completed assignment. So what I did is I made an iBook, the book that you're going to create. This will be the final part of the presentation that you're going to send off to me. This is what's due right before finals. We'll talk about that later on in the class. But what you can see there is essentially some people may have been in this app before you. So yours might look like this. It might show some other things. If you are new to Book Creator, you might want to click on Getting Started. If you're ever not sure, that's just like another resource for you to find out information if you're not sure where something is or how to do something. But this training, the stuff I'm talking about right now, should be more than enough information for you. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty powerful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the New Book button. Some people ask, which one should I do? Which iBook? Doesn't matter to me. My personal preference is landscape, because landscape is pretty much the way I like to look at books, and I find it lines up really well with what you've done in the app paper. All of the paper drawings are wide as opposed to tall. So if we did one that was square and we're trying to bring in an image, it's not going to fit perfectly. You're going to see white bars on the top or bottom. So I like to click on landscape. I find it fits this project really well. Totally up to you. You're not going to lose marks based on what you choose. Totally okay. So the first time we look at the book, it says, there's your cover. What do you want to put on the cover? Title. So obviously I've done the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So I'm going to click on the little plus. The plus means you want to do something. You want to add something. So I'm going to click on my photos because I've saved a picture of it. I'm just going to click on my moments, and I have a title there. That's the sketch note I did, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So from that I can pretty much tell, okay, this is a cool iBook. What I might do, because you're going to hand this in as a final project, is I might also incorporate my name. So let's put the plus again. You could click on the pen. You can click on the add text, whatever you like. So right here is the color. So the color is black. Black probably won't show up well on black. So I will choose a contrasting color. Anything you want. Again, I'm not worried about the artistic rendition. I'm concerned about the content, right? The content is what we're after. I'm just giving you another venue of doing it. So I'm going to type in my name. Hopefully yours looks much nicer than that. And I ran out of room. Okay, so obviously you can use the eraser or hit done. You can move this around. I can resize it if I want, things like that. It acts pretty intuitively. I'm sure you guys would pick this up fairly quickly. That way it has the title of my song. It's got kind of a cool looking picture, and I'm ready to go. So let's say I'm working on my next page. Click next. What do we want to do? I want to hit the plus button because I want to add something. Photos, camera, pen, text, sound. Let's add the video we just made. So photos. Remember, if we would have saved it to our camera roll, I just didn't have enough time to let it export. That's where I would pick it up, right there. So let's just say that, again, that was my movie. And then that's where I would get to watch your movie. It's part of the book. That's the first part of the assignment we've done. The second thing I want to do is I want to add information. So again, I'm going to add pictures that have my content. Remember, I did some of those pictures like this that has the vision or the view of the Hanks writer. So it's the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, the song written and composed and performed by Canadian songwriter Gordon Lightfoot. What I don't want to see is you copying and pasting off Wikipedia. Okay? I did that. Don't do that. Okay? I did it just to help you along to see what it should look like. But this should be written in your own words. Remember, this is a research assignment. The reason we're doing this is to show what we can do, hitting the same goals as something like an essay in another form, something a more visual form. Also, when I took a screen capture in Hanks Writer, it has all the Hanks Writer settings. It shows my untitled document, and I don't really think that looks great in a book. So what I might do is I can move my image around. I can also stretch it to look a little bit bigger. That way, it doesn't actually show up with all those settings.
Mr. Gobey,
Yep.
in your camera roll, you can just press edit and then top or with that.
Yes, yeah, you can also edit in camera roll as well, but I found this one was almost easier to do. Now I want to show you something that's really cool. I want to know that you have information, additional information about the song, as well as be able to tell me in your own voice what actually happened in the songs, right? Because they're all about historical context, something that's happened, and we just chose the form of a ballad, a song written by somebody talking about something particular. So I'm going to show you that process from start to finish so you know exactly what to do. If I go back through the plus, you can see there that I can add text and pen. Pen, writing it out, seems kind of like a sketch note, and I think it's better done in paper. Whereas if I want to talk about the text, all I'm going to do is add text. So I'm going to click on the add text, and you're going to see I can type it there, or I can copy and paste it. I'm actually just going to go back because I did a previous example to show you guys. This book. Click over, had some of my pictures. Again, there's my information I just showed you. But what I've done here is I've clicked text, and I've added some audio. You see there's a little audio symbol there. And if I hit play, you'll hear it on my computer, but not over the loudspeaker. That actually is me talking about that first line. So like I said, this is kind of a research section built in specifically about the song. I want to know what you know about the song. So for example, when we did the Ballad of Ira Hayes, right? We found out the Battle of Iwo Jima, there was 2 different flags, right? There was 2 different pictures, and they had to recreate that. That's something we wouldn't necessarily find in the song, but we definitely found out by doing a little research. So what I want you to do is go through every line of the song, or section, doesn't need to be every line, but you're going to provide me in your own voice a recording of what's going on, right? So I'm going to show you how that works. I went and I copied and pasted off the internet the lyrics, because that's a reference, it's not original thought. We need the lyrics themselves. So I went online, found the lyrics, and I just grabbed the first section. So as you probably remember from us studying the song, the legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Kitchigumi, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on plus, because I have some information about that. What else do you know about the lake they call Kitchigumi? What do we learn from our research? Lake Superior, right? So Gordon Lightfoot, because he made the connection to the Aboriginal group that lived on the lake, the song was a lot about legend, the West Witch come running, they said. He chose to not call it by its name that we know it, which is Lake Superior. He called it Kitchigumi, and just added something else to the song, right? So because I know that information, I want to share that in the book. The way I do that is I go add sound. And you see this little pop-up saying, start recording. It's much the same as what we just learned in iMovie, where you can record voice. This is where you have to kind of know where the microphone is on the iPad itself. So I'm going to go start recording. And you'll see there it counts down. So it's actually recording my voice right now. Obviously, I don't want my explanation. But what I would say if I were you is, in the first 2 lines of the song, we learned that Gordon Lightfoot chose to select the Aboriginal group, the Chippewa, where they talked about the Lake Kitchigumi, which we know from doing a little research is actually Lake Superior. And then stop recording. So it says, recording finished. Do you want to use this recording? If you've done it correctly, not the way I've done it, explaining it, I would hit yes. And you'll see there that this little icon pops up, and that icon is the recording of my voice. So me explaining those 2 lines. This is how I'm going to find out from you that you've done your research on the subject, right? So this is, instead of me reading an essay to find out, did you just copy it off the internet? It's you in your own words talking about it, which is kind of cool. A couple of different ways that can work in class, because there's 30 of us in class. If it's the same thing as you trying to record the song, if everybody's talking at the same time, not going to work. So this is something you could do by using the Dropbox app. Or what I find really helpful is if you have those Apple headphones that have that little microphone on it, it actually works fairly well. Like even in a group setting like this, if you hold it close to your mouth and obviously don't scream in it, we've been successful with having the entire group of students doing that all at once. Or I'm really not opposed to having people like work in a corner or maybe just outside the class. And considering this is period 3, we hit lunch. So if you stay in for a few minutes every day, or even 10, 15 minutes, you could probably hammer that out. Especially if you planned it out really well, right? So if you have a piece of paper and you go through the song, you just add your jot notes. That's why I let you guys work on that all week, finding resources as well as drawing your sketch notes, right? So let's say I have more than one piece of information about this section. I can keep adding as many audio clips as I want. So again, the same process, add audio, start recording, etc. But let's just say it's not well organized on my page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line, just as you see on that first section. So I'm going to go plus, click on pen, and again I can choose my color if I want, whatever works. Remember, it's not artistic ability, it's content. And I'm just going to draw, let's just say, you can even highlight something and put a line to it, but I don't think that's very well done. I think that looks kind of garbagey because it actually, clear drawing. It doesn't look like it's really professional. It doesn't look like something I want to hand in, right? Like a prepared essay should be printed. There shouldn't be coffee spilled on it or your grubby hands from Cheetos, stuff like that. So hand tool, I can click a thick line, thin line, whatever works. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a nice little line. There we go. So that way I know when I'm a teacher looking through it, oh, he's talking about this line, right? So it's a little bit of a helpful section for me as well as you. So that is absolutely everything you need to know as far as the 2 apps. We'll talk a little bit about that again tomorrow. Yes, if you have questions, come talk to me.
Are we supposed to hand it?
Don't worry about handing in your sketch note today. Let's finish that off tomorrow. So think about what I've talked about. I'll give you about 5 minutes to add additional information to the homework piece. We'll call it homework today. And then you're going to airdrop it to me within the first 10 minutes of class tomorrow. Okay? If you have questions, come talk to me. Make sure you put your iPads back in the proper spots. We've been having some problems in the afternoon, as you found out last week or this week. People not putting iPads back in the proper locations, which in turn freaks everybody out in period 4 and then gets me in trouble. Yeah. Yeah, so the final project you're going to send me is a book, right? It's going to be a book creator book, but in that book it's going to have your iMovie. You're not. No, you're in.
What?
Yeah. No, don't send the movie because the movie is going to be in the book. That makes sense? All you do is you go plus and add photo, and the photo, remember if we save it, it comes up as a photo. So you can add a movie in just as you can add a photo. Yeah, the movie is going to be in the book. Hi.
I didn't read your email, but it said, can you help me with my bit?
Oh yeah, no, it's just, there's a link that has a test, and it's like, it's a stupid 3-question test, but it'll give me results that I can show everybody how my kit works.
Okay.
You don't have, I think 4 other people did it,
Oh.
so you have to do it if you're busy, don't worry.
Okay.
I'll come
Hi.
back for more, but
Sure.
Jim would be a little bit of time to come in here. I don't know how much.
Sure. Yeah, we'll kind of, because it was kind of a short class, I'll wrap it up tomorrow.
But already there's lots of things that I thought I would see.
Sure. Yeah.
Good. Wait. Apologize.
No, no.
Two things happened.
I figured you were busy.
We delivered all the furniture and stuff for the portal.
Oh.
That's how we have this class. Every such stuff. Yes.
In the Commons?
Jump barricade, put it on the back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was wrong the other day when I said what week my break is. I had it wrong in my phone. So the week of the 19th, I think that is the break. I should never have added a week of the 28th.
And I can't remember.
Looks like next year we might get a whole
Yeah.
year.
Well, Michaela and I got married on the break.
How long?
We'll always be able to get to the, that was like the 1 year where we had it.
What are you close to that?
Yeah.
Well, it's because next year.
So where would they put the SDA? Those 2 days sometime during the year.
You have a lot to work with. What you choose not to do. Nothing to say.
Yeah.
Going that next year, we're gonna have to go back.
How about the sun?
And they should be getting close to confirming next year's schedule.
10 out of 10. I think great.
Because if you're talking about
So it's either shop or it's no, actually, if I open some
Very Spirit does that where they have a full fat break. They go in 2 days earlier. I'm not sure how they're 2 less days. One thing I was going to ask, if on Monday the Apple event, there's a Sunday Monday Apple event in Regina. I was wondering, could I take Monday as my professional day?
or I could
Okay. Yeah, I haven't taken it yet, but I wasn't sure if it was going to work. But I just want to ask you. My classes are okay. Yeah, I have some. Yeah, and a lot of my classes are independent. They can do stuff outside my physical class. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I was trying to make it work. I think then I'll come.
what's their plan for residency? Did you already book it for Daryl? Well, I sent them a reserve, but Tim's emailed me.
I'll just throw it.
Yeah.
Because I need to get a new company. He hasn't turned it on. Yeah. It came up.
Yeah, it was good. They're working I killed it.
Wait, and I'm like, I moved this specifically to this day for him.
That's all you have.
Period 4. All out of here. Quit working on the computer.
On here?
Yeah.
Oh, am I still logged in from yesterday?
No, that should be me.
Oh, I guess, yeah, just
Yeah, you
yearbook
can-
drive, I see the same.
Do it.
Oh.